All right, let's talk about something. If you're running any kind of cold email campaigns, you know the drill, right? You start to scale up, and boom, your costs shoot right up with you. Today, we're going to break down a totally new model that's trying to flip that script. We're diving deep into the Manyreach lifetime deal and this idea they've got called the cold email tax. So let's kick things off with a feeling that is probably way too familiar for anyone out there in sales or marketing. You finally crack the code, you find a campaign that just works, you ramp up the volume, and suddenly your software bill is through the roof. It's that super frustrating feeling, like your own tools are penalizing you for being successful. And that feeling, that penalty for growth, is what Manyreach has given a name to, the cold email tax. It's not just the price you see on the monthly subscription. No, it's all those hidden costs, those compounding fees that just quietly eat away at your profit as you grow. Okay, so here's the game plan for today. First, we'll really unpack what this cold email tax is all about. Then we'll shift gears and look at a different way of thinking, owning your outreach. From there, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the lifetime deal tiers and what features you actually get. Then we'll put Manyreach head-to-head with some big names, and we'll wrap it all up with what we're calling the ownership question. Sound good? Let's do it. So, let's jump right into section 1. The cold email tax. When you're paying for those traditional subscription email platforms, what are you actually paying for? Well, it really comes down to 4 major headaches. First, you've got those compounding monthly fees that literally punish you for sending more emails. Second, those sudden, out-of-nowhere deliverability drops that can just destroy a great campaign. Third, you constantly hit these upgrade walls, where the really important stuff like API access or A/B testing is locked behind a plan that costs way more. And finally, you end up needing a whole bunch of different tools and a bunch of different subscriptions just to handle warming, sending, and looking at your analytics. It's a mess. So if that's the problem, what's the fix? Well, Section 2 introduces a totally different way of thinking, owning your outreach. And this is all about a huge shift away from that standard model where you're just renting everything. In this slide, it lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the subscription model, which is basically renting your growth. You're stuck with monthly bills, credits that disappear if you don't use them, and you're always asking for permission to scale. But on the other side, you've got the lifetime model, which is all about owning your infrastructure. You pay just once, and then you have the freedom to scale whenever and however you want, without hitting those frustrating walls. So that brings us right to the solution they're offering. Section 3, the lifetime deal tiers. And the whole idea is simple. One single payment, and you get unlimited sending potential forever. So the starting point is their starter plan. It's a one-time payment of $249, and it's really designed for solo founders, entrepreneurs who are just getting their feet wet. Then you've got the growth plan, which they say is their best seller. This one is aimed at companies that are starting to grow, and it comes in at a one-time cost of $399. And for the teams that are really pushing the limits and scaling their outreach in a big way, there's the scale plan. That's a one-time price of $899. Okay, now this is the part you really need to understand, how the credits work. The starter plan gets you 10,000 email credits, growth gets you 100,000, and scale gets you a whopping 300,000. But here's the kicker. These credits aren't just a one-time thing. No, they renew every single month forever after you make that first payment. So you're basically buying a permanent monthly email allowance. So what do you actually get for that one-time payment? This brings us to Section 4, features for everyone. And this is where Manyreach is really trying to shake things up by not locking technology behind paywalls. And this is a really big deal. Every single user, it doesn't matter which tier you're on, gets the whole toolkit. We're talking unlimited senders, unlimited team members, AI-powered warm-up, sender rotation, the Unibox to manage all your replies, a built-in CRM, and full API access. They're not treating these as luxury add-ons. They're saying these are standard, must-have tools. So you might be asking, okay, if the features are all the same, why would I upgrade? Well, it's all about the service. If you're on the growth or scale plans, you get VIP benefits, things like priority support, a dedicated one-on-one onboarding session, your very own account manager, and you get early access to new features. So you're upgrading for premium service, not for access to the core technology. All right, so how does this model really hold up against the other big players in this space? Let's jump into Section 5. Manyreach versus the competition. Time for a head-to-head. This table gives us a fantastic quick look. Right off the bat, you see the massive difference in the pricing model, a one-time payment versus a monthly subscription that never ends. But look closer. Unlimited contact uploads and senders versus these really tight plan-dependent limits. A built-in CRM and API access are just included. They're not some expensive add-on or something you only get on an enterprise plan. Let's get specific, starting with Smartlead. With them, your credits just expire every month. Use them or lose them. You're limited on how many active leads you can even have, and you have to pay up for their pro plan just to get something as basic as API access. With Manyreach, your credits renew and there are no limits on your leads. Next up, Saleshandy. Their starter plan creates this immediate bottleneck, right? They cap you at just 2,000 prospects and only 3 sender rotations. For any team that's actually trying to scale, those limits are a serious roadblock. It's a handicap that Manyreach's unlimited model just completely removes. And finally, let's look at Lemlist. On their starter plan, you're missing out on some absolutely essential tools like A/B testing, inbox rotation, and API access. To get those, you're forced to upgrade to one of their much more expensive plans. With Manyreach, again, all of those tools are included right from the start. So after looking at all the features, the pricing model, and how it stacks up against the competition, what's the big takeaway here? Let's wrap this all up with our final section, the ownership question. The entire argument really just boils down to this one simple but pretty powerful idea. Instead of just paying and paying forever to rent access to the tools you need to grow your business, the alternative is to make a single investment to own your outreach infrastructure. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. When you really think about the compounding costs, the feature gates, and all the limits that come with renting your tools, the question becomes pretty clear, doesn't it? Would you really let another year go by just renting your own growth?